Welcome to the Unlist. Today I'm doing another video that's basically aimed at the population of the online fragrance community. You guys know I like to hold up a mirror sometimes or shine a light on certain activities, certain behaviors, things that can either make it a more fun place to be or sometimes a more tiresome place to be. This particular video is not really bad nor good. It's not me trying to browbeat anyone. It's just more of an observation. It concerns stereotypes, really. You can tell by the title of the video that I'm going after a very specific stereotype, but in reality, there are multiple stereotypes. And you know, I did a little image series on Instagram with the little stories you can put up, where I posed myself as one of like several different online stereotypes. And, you know, I kind of got a bit of mixed feedback from that. Some people saw the humor in it, right? Other people took it way too personally, as expected, because I guess my joke hit a little too close to home and it made them feel self-conscious. So, you know, out come the pitchforks and torches, right? So that sort of thing happens. But by and large, though, the stereotype that I want to focus on in this video is the mythical FragBro. Not a term I can credit creating, mind you, okay? But it's a term that in my years within this online space, I have seen used quite a bit. But you know, all the talk of the FragBro and all the different associated behaviors with the FragBro, the entire construct, if you will, the social construct of the FragBro, have I ever actually seen any dyed-in-the-wool, tried-and-true, unrepentant, you know, self-identifying FragBros? Like, some people will have the FragBro aspects to their personality, right? They'll tick off some of the boxes, but then in other ways they won't line up with the stereotype. So ultimately, it has me thinking that maybe the FragBro as we define it doesn't actually exist. And there's a very interesting conversation where the idea for this video stems from, happening right now on Base Notes. So I'm going to plug Base Notes, even though I already do anyway in all of my video descriptions. I'm going to plug Base Notes here in the actual video itself. The source of some of my more interesting videos actually comes from conversations that are being had on Base Notes. So if you want to actually be a part of these conversations in the forums, you can just go over there yourself, join up, you know. If you want to, which it's recommended, you can pledge. And then if you pledge on their Patreon, you'll get ad-free experience. You'll get all kinds of other perks too. It's worthwhile. You know, a lot of websites these days have a premium package of some kind or a premium tier. Some of them are total BS, don't give you anything. Others actually do. So in Base Notes' case, they actually give you a little something. And it's so cheap. It's like $3 a month. Oh my God, $3 a month. Oh, can't even buy a coffee for $3, really. So yeah, the video that you're watching right now, the genesis for the idea of this video comes from a conversation that's being had right now on Base Notes. And I didn't start the thread. I can't take credit for the beginning of that conversation. I can only take credit for extrapolating that conversation and converting it into a video, right? Making an idea for a video. And that video is the one you're watching right now. So go check out Base Notes. Now, back to the FragBro. The FragBro, okay? Does the FragBro actually exist? We have spent, I want to say, the better part of 15 years talking about the different ways the FragBro has diluted the social currency of the online collective, how a lot of things like the way fragrances are put together, the way they're sold, all of this can be blamed on the just unquenchable appetite for attention that the FragBros seem to have, right? And, well, I think part of the problem here is the ideal of the FragBro is actually the ideal of someone who is not a part of the online fragrance community, right? So this is where I'm saying that I think maybe the FragBro, as we define him, exists, but is not really a part of the online fragrance community, is actually someone who is accessing the same assets, the same information, entering the same social spaces and gleaning information, getting what they want, but not committing to being a part of the community. You know, it's like the difference between someone who's all in with a certain thing, you know, like someone who's all in with, you know, Star Wars and has all the movies and all the video games, dresses up, goes to the conventions, is real committed to the conversations, the culture, everything, right? That person versus someone who just has some of the movies, you know, has seen some of or most of the movies, maybe has played a game here or there, you know, doesn't know any of the deep lore or any of the backstories, doesn't know anything about who's cousin to who, this, that, or the other, really only knows what is commonly available. And even though this person could say they like Star Wars, right, and they would watch it again if it was convenient, or if they bought a Blu-ray or something, but they're not necessarily someone who's part of a culture concerning Star Wars, correct? Well, I kind of feel like the mythical unicorn that is the true FragBro, that checks all the FragBro boxes, is not someone you're going to find as a permanent fixture anywhere in the online fragrance community. Not Facebook, not Fragrantica, the usual hotspots for this sort of thing, right? Definitely not Base Notes, because Base Notes is a collective of nerds and we chase all those kind of people away, for better or for worse, you know. And definitely not any other kind of more tightly curated spaces. The FragBros don't hang their hat, their little flat-brimmed hat, you know, they don't hang it there. So, again, is the FragBro really just another bogeyman, like Cologne and dihydromercenol, right, in fragrances, woody ambers, ambroxan? Is the FragBro really just a bogeyman, not real? The actual detriment to the community, the actual scone, the bane of all intellectual connoisseur collectors' existence. You know, those of us out there, pinkies out, with our single monocle on our eye, you know, and our top hat, sniffing our 6 different batches of Aventus, or smelling our deep vintage Paco Rabanne fragrances, our artisanal ouds, and our limited batch indie perfumes. Those of us who have a collection of aroma chemicals for reference because we need to know what Cologne smells like. Those of us who take a modern fragrance that once had oak moss in it and buy oak moss tincture separately to add back into the fragrance so we can reconstruct it to be more like deep vintage. All of this craziness, right, that defines the obsessive behavior of a lot of us in the online fragrance community, including myself, with my multitudes of backups that I don't need, that I will never run through in my lifetime, and I'm trying to get rid of. Still ongoing quest of removing some of these fragrances that I realize now I overpurchased, right? So in that collective, nowhere do we really find someone who's just showing up with the Under Armour on, showing up with the backwards hat on, looking like Fred Durst straight out of a Limp Bizkit video, you know, getting out of a Subaru on dubs, you know, bumping the Skrillex or whatever, the bump, 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 getting out, gold chains everywhere, rings everywhere, looking like this with their face on the side of their mouth, like, yo, dog, what's up? You know, that whole thing, the whole toxic masculinity thing, rolling up like this, saying, got to get me some compliments, dog. Got to get me that sillage, that projection. Going to get every girl in the club tonight, right? Macking on everything, including like inanimate objects, like macking on a freaking, you know, telephone pole. If it were possible to mac on, they would mac on that. It's like, that person doesn't really exist. That whole like Jamie Kennedy, Malibu's Most Wanted person, doesn't really exist in the online fragrance community. But we like to project that image, do we not? Do we not like to project that image onto people who maybe tick some of the boxes? Certain influencers that are into fitness, right? I am friends with one, so I'm not going to out this person, but certain influencers who are into fitness, they get put in the FragBro category. Certain influencers who are into hip-hop culture, who happen to like the chains, who happen to like the low-hanging pants, okay? Maybe they listen to some mixtapes here and there, which they're not tapes anymore, but they still call them mixtapes, right? Because it's a compilation of unpublished material. They get thrown, you know, there's a little bit of underlying racism there too, I might add, but they get thrown in the FragBro camp too, do they not? The guys with the suit jackets and the slick back hair, anyone who looks like a certain German person who, you know I'm talking about, anyone who fits that profile, right? FragBro, they go off to FragBro land. So you see what I'm saying? It's like sometimes we just kind of take people who, for whatever reason, they have a certain personality quirk or a certain image to them that for us reads like it's shallow, vain, you know, conceited, insincere, disingenuous, and they just kind of get banished to the Isle of Misfit FragBros. They get othered. We other those people, right? Right? We do. We other them. And it's the same thing that sometimes gets done to people who are very into niche fragrances or vintages. They get othered too. But one thing that I can say that is definitely clear is even when you're picking on a vintage enthusiast or an artisanal enthusiast, or you're picking on someone into raw materials or whatever their particular quirk is, usually these individual groups get picked on one at a time. But when it comes to the FragBro, right, the guy who walks into the club, like I said, wearing 15 sprays of Lamal, right, 15 sprays of Ultramal, probably today would be Ultramal, wouldn't be the old one. But you get my point. Walking in the club, collars popped. Every other group in the online fragrance community, literally all the other groups, gang together and gang up on the FragBro. So the FragBro just kind of gets like a curb stomping, really. Gets, you know, a downtown beatdown. They don't get a chance. They are just singled out because all the other little nerd categories, and yes, we are nerds, okay, we are all nerds. All the other nerd categories will just band together, and that's it. Exile the FragBro. Ostracize them. Because they were curious about performance. They were curious about compliments. They were curious about whether a fragrance is mass appealing, or they were curious about whether a fragrance is office safe, or they were curious about whether a fragrance does feel too feminine, or does it feel contemporary versus dated. They have these trend-oriented, fashion-oriented, gender norm-oriented concerns, correct? And we like to point that out, and we like to crucify that. Oh, you can't be concerned about whether you smell like a guy or not. You can't be concerned about whether it's compliments. You can't be concerned about whether it's safe for an office. You should just not care. You should drip yourself in cat butthole juice and then go to work smelling like cat butthole. Because if you're a true enthusiast, none of that stuff should be of any concern. You should be a totally free, bohemian hippie, like a summer of love child. Just do whatever you want. Finger paint and take the acid and listen to the Pink Floyd records, right? Have the hair covering your face. Part your hair like a bead curtain like this, right? Anything else is uncivilized. And off you go to the FragBro corner to be a FragBro with your backwards hat, your tank top, your baggy jeans or your cargo shorts, your REI co-op membership club, okay, your blue Subaru WRX, your Skrillex mixtape, or maybe your DMX mixtape, okay, you got your Mentos in your glove box or your Banaka spray. You're about to go out and like bang an entire cheerleader squad by yourself, right? So that's where we go with just one of those facets. You know, you just ask about compliments in an isolated situation. You're a FragBro. You just ask about performance in an isolated situation. You're a FragBro, get out of here. You ask about gender norms, okay? Maybe I don't adhere to those. Myself, personally, I don't adhere to them. But it doesn't mean you can't. It does not mean you can't be concerned about them if you want to be, okay? So you ask about, does this smell more feminine or masculine? Maybe I personally wouldn't care because I don't see it that way, but I can put myself in your shoes, can I not? And I can go, yeah, okay, that might read a little bit feminine because there is a bit of iris in there. There is a bit of lavender in there mixed with some rose. Feels a little bit more dandy-like. Okay. There's some ylang-ylang in here. There's some tuberose in here. Maybe the ylang-ylang and the tuberose is going to read a bit more feminine to someone who's used to citruses and used to soapy notes, right? They get hit with the tuberose, the ylang-ylang, it's going to read feminine. I can do that. I can perform that mental exercise. It doesn't hurt me at all to perform that mental exercise. But to be like, oh, no, you're a FragBro, get out of here. So again, it just, circling back, to me, it just feels like if there are FragBros, right, if they exist, if they truly exist, and I'm saying in the online fragrance community, I don't mean Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay? I don't mean the people who are not concerned with this as a hobby. People who just buy fragrances for whatever purpose they have, be it shallow or otherwise, not your concern, right? Whatever purpose they have for wearing fragrance, they're not creating accounts on Base Notes or Fragrantica. They're not hanging out in Oda Jerks. They're not hanging out in Reddit. They're just dipping their toe in and saying, hey guys, I'm trying to buy a fragrance. These are my options. Pick one for me. Those kind of people, right? I'm 16 years old. I've never bought a fragrance before. I want some help. I want the ladies to like me, or I want to smell good for whatever, college chess club. Doesn't matter, okay? They are just asking for help. They have some very banal concerns. Be that as it may, they have some banal concerns, but they are their concerns, and they are genuinely asking for guidance. But you kick them to the curb because they're FragBros, because they said the C word, compliments, because they said the P word, projection, because they let it be known that they are trying to attract attention from whether it's the same sex, opposite sex, or it doesn't really matter, right? So, but they are looking for that kind of attention. And they're coming into a collective of a bunch of seething nerds like us. We're all just kind of gouging around like this. And they're coming and they're like, hey man, I saw that Acqua di Gio Parfum is pretty good. You know, it's a bit expensive though, so maybe I want a cheaper alternative, but I see it's pretty good. And a lot of people rate it very highly. I'm just trying to wear it to school. I'm trying to wear it to work. Again, I'm a young guy. I have no clue what oud is. The word phenolic is not in my vocabulary. I'm just trying to ask about this designer fragrance that I saw sitting at a counter. And they just get like fuss roda, kamehameha blasted right on out the forums. Get the fuck out of here. You, right? They get sent packing. And that's the FragBro. That's the pariah. That's the effigy, like the Wicker Man. That's the Wicker Man that we set on fire. That poor dude who was just asking about Acqua di Gio, he got stuck up in this giant Wicker Man and burst into flames, right? That's the FragBro, you know? She's a witch. She turned me into a newt. I got better, right? Well, if she weighs the same as a duck, then it must mean she's made of wood, and therefore she's a witch, right? There you go, Monty Python for you. That's what we got to stop. So the question I leave to you before I wind this out, because, you know, I don't go past 25 minutes, right? The question I ask to you, therefore, is there really a FragBro anymore? Maybe there once was. Maybe at the height of certain influencers' fame, okay? Maybe at the height of Aventus's popularity. Maybe at the height of a few other fragrances' popularity. Maybe there was a time where there was genuinely a surplus of really shallow, self-centered, vainglorious guys who just wanted to get laid and just wanted to look macho or alpha or whatever, right? Maybe there was a certain surplus of them and they were in the online fragrance community and they were just blowing up threads and blowing up Facebook groups and blowing up different other platforms. Maybe that was the thing. I was probably too busy sniffing Avon perfumes. I was too busy with my head in some black suede to really notice 10, 15 years ago, right? As you guys know, I didn't really even start writing reviews until about 12 years ago, and it didn't take it seriously until about 7 years ago. So I was always kind of under a rock. For a lot of this, I was kind of under a rock, myself personally. Kept in my corner, right? Stayed in my lane. So I can't really 100% say for sure if we had a big FragBro problem or not, because by 2017, which is when I started really being active, which that's like, 7 years ago, like I said, when I started really being active, the FragBro was just kind of this mythical Jabberwocky. It was this this horrid creature. And while I definitely know there is a certain level of toxicity amongst some populations, like I said, I throw Fragrantica under the bus a lot. They have a very poorly moderated population there, people that say things that are off the chain and they get away with murder there. So I do talk about that, but those people are just trolls. They're not necessarily FragBros. So that's another problem. I think a lot of us are confusing trolls for FragBros. Trolls are trolls. Trolls, they actually get pleasure through sadism. They get pleasure by causing misery on other people. So that is not the same as a FragBro. FragBro just wants to smell clean and sexy and maybe get some action, whatever, pump some iron, okay, make some money, live that life, whatever. So that's a FragBro, okay? So they're not out there trying to like get under your skin and cause you to rage quit the internet. That's what a troll does. And that's where we need to know the difference. But just ultimately, my question is, are we more concerned with an actual person in the online fragrance community? Or are we so scared of a certain ideal that we've created this fictional villain to go after, gives us root cause to police our social circles, police our websites, police our various groups, to keep this idea from taking root? An idea that may have taken root years ago, but has long since been purged, and we are still hunting the white whale that's no longer there. That's the question I have to you. Hence the title of the video, In Search of the FragBro, okay? Are we really just chasing unicorns? And I don't mean fragrance unicorns, I mean actual unicorns, okay? So that's my question to you. For me personally, I think there's a little bit of FragBro in all of us. All of us like attention. All of us like to feel sexy and confident. All of us like to feel, how we feel about certain things. And our perfume can sometimes help add to that, right? So there's a little bit of vanity in all of us. So a little bit of FragBro lives inside of each one of us, in my opinion. Some more than others, clearly some more than others. But no one ever goes 100% FragBro. I don't think I've ever fully met a 100% FragBro person in the online fragrance community, which is why I have to call into question if they still actually exist, if they ever truly actually existed. So there you guys have it. Hope you enjoyed this little diversion into the online fragrance community. And I may do videos about other stereotypes in the future, but this one felt like an easy one to knock out. Catch you next time.